Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Ryan Wolf. Ashley has the night off. At the top first on Fox, major developments in the case of missing Olmos Park mother Suzanne Simpson. We now have the arrest warrant for her husband, Brad Simpson, who's now charged with her murder. Team coverage tonight following several angles as the affidavit is now unsealed. We start with Fox SA's Jordan Elder. She joins us now with some of the gruesome details.
We have a much fuller picture of the night Suzanne went missing and how Brad Simpson spent that following day. It all starts here at the Argyle Club. HEB security cameras place the Simpsons here for about 11 minutes before they go home. They have some sort of altercation. Suzanne calls her mom and details the assault as she drives to a friend's house. We now know that as she drove there, Brad allegedly had her phone service disconnected. Just before 10:30, Suzanne's phone pings at home. A neighbor hears the couple arguing, sees Brad follow Suzanne into the woods, and then hears screaming. At 11:06, investigators say they see something interesting. Brad Simpson begins a cycle of putting his phone in what's called lockdown mode to keep it from being tracked, quote, in a manner rarely seen. The next morning, the details get even more haunting. At about 8, Brad drops his daughter off at school. Surveillance video shows trash bags and an ice chest in his truck. Now, this is just the start of his busy morning. He goes to a Whataburger and orders food. Cameras show a blue tarp and a firewood rack in the truck, too. Investigators say, in their experience, this is how criminals would hide a victim. Then he stops at Home Depot for cement, a bucket, more trash bags, and Clorox. He also asks a stranger where he can find the nearest dump. Data from his truck shows he was near the Kendall County solid waste site for a while. Then at 11:15, he pops back up at a gas station, minus the trash bags that were in the truck before. He turns toward Medina, Texas, and then back toward Bernie. After 3, Brad picks up his daughter from school, and cameras still show the ice chest and the trash can in his truck. He goes to get a car wash next. Investigators say there were dried cement splashes in his truck, and more items are missing from the back. At 4:35, he texts his business associate that he doesn't have much time. Then on Tuesday, Brad Simpson is arrested on a family violence charge. He has lacerations and bruises, and police say he didn't show much emotion there. Here are some of the other interesting details we uncovered in this affidavit. You can read this full document over on our website. Jordan Elder, Fox SA.
Now we continue our coverage tonight at one of the locations Brad allegedly stopped at after Suzanne's disappearance. Fox SA's Yami Virhin is live off San Pedro on the north side. Yami, what can you tell us?
So you heard the timeline right now with Jordan. That car wash spot, that's where we're at right now. So after he picked up his daughter from school around 3:30 Monday afternoon, it is not known, according to these documents, we don't know if the child was still in the car or not, but 40 minutes later, Brad popped up here at the Bubble Bath on the 7,000 block of San Pedro. According to the court documents, Brad is seen washing the front side, the driver's side of the car, and also the rear left passenger side of the cab. Also in the back of the vehicle, you do not see anything other than the ice chest on the bed of that truck. It also says here, quote, dried cement splashes were later located in the rear passenger compartment of the vehicle to include in the truck of the bed. And also they had pictures of a 30-ounce Clorox bottle located within the passenger compartment of that vehicle. The truck bed contained, again, only the ice chest. And also in that vehicle, they were able to find some blood splashes that were tested and later came back as belonging to Brad Simpson. Tonight, he's still sitting at the Bexar County Jail. Yami Virgen, Fox SA.
Yami, thank you for that. So what can we expect as the criminal cases against Brad Simpson move forward? We talked to one criminal defense attorney who isn't connected to the case but has been following these developments. That attorney, Joseph Holscher, read the recently unsealed arrest affidavit and tells us that while he says it's clear Simpson couldn't keep his story straight with law enforcement, there are a lot of reasons people might not cooperate with the police investigation. And despite the questionable actions investigators say Brad Simpson had taken right after his wife's disappearance, there might be an explanation for that as well.
There's a lot of reasons that people might feel guilty other than a specific criminal charge. And it appears that these guys did have a tough marriage. Anybody knows when they're going through a hard spot in their marriage, there's a lot of things to feel guilty about.
We're going to keep following the case as it moves through the court system.
Robert Price here at the live desk, continuing our coverage of the Simpson case. Tonight, we've also learned the family violence charges that Brad Simpson had been facing have now been dropped. Here's why. Simpson was scheduled to appear in court tomorrow on the family violence charges. Assault, unlawful restraint, all related to that front yard fight that Jordan mentioned. This was from Sunday night, October 6th, witnessed by a neighbor. But those charges have been rejected, considered extraneous offenses. His bond dropping from $5 million to $3 million. However, he is still charged with evidence tampering, having a prohibited weapon, and of course, with Suzanne's murder. And speaking of bond, a reminder this past Friday, Brad's longtime business partner, 65-year-old James Val Cotter, was released from the Bexar County Jail after his bond was lowered to $100,000. It had been $1 million. Cotter is facing 2 felony charges, accused of hiding an AK-47 for Brad Simpson in connection with this case. Ryan.
All right, Robert, thank you. Earlier tonight, we also hosted a breakdown of the murder warrant on our YouTube page. Reporters Robert Price, you just heard from, Yami Virheen, Jordan Elder, and Mariah Medina breaking down the latest in the case and what could possibly come next. To watch it, just scan the QR code on your screen or search Fox SA on YouTube.